everyone, and welcome to another review by the people of Wasthatapodcast. I'm Jamie. He's Dale.
Yo.
How are we doing?
Good.
Won't be as good by the time we're done with this review.
Yeah, no.
Because today we're going to review Doctor Strange and Mom, the multiverse of madness. To clarify, because I just realised spells Mom.
Mom, for some reason, yeah.
Plays very heavily on the plot without spoiling. This is going to be a non-spoiler review, I think.
Yeah.
So we won't
This
be spoiling
portion
anything.
only will be spoiler free.
Yeah. If you want to hear the spoilers, listen to our podcast on iTunes or any of your favorite podcasting things where we'll talk more in depth about this. We're going to do a whole episode about it. But to put it simply, it was disappointing.
Yes.
I freaking love Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I've seen a lot of people act negative to him, but I'm personally a big fan of his. I like all this kind of stuff. He pulls off like a Stephen Strange really well, and this movie did him zero justice and just made him look like a complete plonk.
I will say, yeah, the writing for this movie is very iffy.
Yeah, if you like jumping from like scene to scene to scene without much context or time to like evolve, then this movie's right up your alley. Same thing with Morbius. If you love CGI, there's plenty of that in here as well. If you're looking for that kind of stuff.
Very much of it, yes. However, there is also a very dark tone to this movie.
Yes, for the age rating, which was a 12A, this has some scenes that I would question could be in a 15 or even almost a rated R with one scene.
Even at times we questioned whether or not it was really a Marvel movie. Considering what people have seen in the past, this is a very fresh way to take a Marvel movie.
The thing is, this is like them trying to push the boat out, see what they can get away with. They're trying new things, hence all these TV series and all that. I think someone pointed out the other day that basically all of Marvel's Phase 4, we've had 5 TV series and 3 movies.
They're trying to industrialize, aren't they, I think.
Eternals and then Doctor Strange. Yeah, 3 movies, and then we've had WandaVision, Captain America, Winter Soldier. We've had Moon Knight. We've had
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well.
Yeah, they seem to be really pushing TV series a lot. So
that could be due
Hawkeye.
Oh, that's another one.
Yeah.
That could be down to Disney's influence.
Yeah, it might be, but also it just seems like the direction that they want to do a more kind of series-based thing to get more clicks and more views, which is fair enough. But it's hitting their movie franchise hard because it seems like there isn't the same care in the movies as there is in the TV series. I find when you watch TV series, they really go into depth and everything, get full fleshed out characters.
Yeah, you do.
Whereas in the movies, they're just let's make a quick buck, chuck a load of action scenes in, very little story context. But let's just rush to the end. We'll put some kind of meaning in there.
Yeah, it's more their way of them putting their meanings in is jam packing it into a couple, maybe.
Yeah, and you never get one, is it? It's always rather than just get the evolution of this one character, we're gonna get the evolution of 3 characters, and then have a load of other small background stories as well to confuse you even more.
So ultimately, when you're watching these movies, it feels like you have to build up a catalogue of moments where you piece together their character, but it's so many and so far in between that it's very confusing to map them out completely.
It's just that sad thing with the whole, ever since Avengers came out, I have really enjoyed the Avengers films. I've enjoyed them all the way up to Endgame. I thought Endgame was a good way to close it out. I would have liked it if they just left it at that and kind of decided if they were going to make movies that go back to the original way of fully fleshing out a character. Because ever since the Avengers have come on, Marvel don't seem to be able to do a movie without chucking other superheroes and other villains in all at the same time. So you don't get that one-on-one time with the whole name of the movie. This is called Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange is in it, but they're also trying to shine a light on a lot of the other characters like Scarlet Witch, Miss America, and just all these other characters as well that we won't spoil, the whole kind of secret organization and all that. And it just felt like you didn't have time to really understand Doctor Strange's evolution throughout the story. It just felt very rough.
I will say this, as a Marvel fan, you will find that there are many conflicting characters, and many characters you'll struggle to find their purpose for within this movie.
Yeah.
Many characters don't really have much of a purpose other than to make an appearance.
They just feel like cameos.
Yeah.
It feels like
it's like a reference.
Yeah, it feels like charity cameos that you can find online where you just pay money to get them to do a quick 1-minute It felt like they just did that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, ever since No Way Home did so well, we have to like make sure that every movie has like at least 6 to 7 heroes in it, and like make sure that
We got a jamming
yeah,
pack full of as many characters.
yeah, it's all about the Easter eggs now, no longer the movie itself. Before, it used to be you watched the movie and if you found an Easter egg, it was like, oh, I never noticed that, and it made it fascinating, interesting.
Yeah.
Now it just feels like the movies have no meaning and are just all there to like make you pop. Like it's just like non-stop high spots. Where it's just like this character makes sense, this character makes sense, this character makes sense, and now they all come off screen.
Yeah, to set up a future movie.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's no like creative license behind it. There's more or less just monetary value behind it.
Yeah.
As in the characters are meant to be used again at some point. And I feel that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
From my perspective.
Needless to say, Phase 4 has just been a massive disappointment to me, and sadly, this movie kind of proved me right in that respect, that they just don't know what they're doing. Like, Morbius was a big blow for me, one of my favourite villains, and now Doctor Strange, one of my favourite heroes, they can't even get right. So, we've got our scoreboard, we've scored it before. Morbius got a strong 3, a very strong, shitty 3.
Yeah.
We have rated other movies higher, like Sonic 2, if you watch our previous review. We kind of met in the middle. I believe one of us said 7, the other one said 6, so we met in the middle, made it 6.5. And in this case, I've fought long and hard. I freaking love Doctor Strange. It's a typical Marvel movie, so for just CGI and sound effects, it's always going to get like a few points on my scoreboard, just because it simply has. I will admit, one thing I did pick up is if you like kind of tribute, like kind of songs, there are some good ones, I will admit. Like the whole scenes with Wanda having like witch theme music was kind of funny. Being the Scarlet Witch, she has to have like the Witch of Oz, like, you know, all that kind of like, yeah, without spoiling it. But yeah, if you like kind of that kind of like little janky stuff that makes you go, oh, I see what you did there. Then there's plenty of that in this movie. So I'm giving it a 5. It's mid. It's not so insulting as Morbius that just felt like it shat all over something that could have been amazing. But at the same time, if they'd just directed it the right way and told the story the right way, it would have been so good. If it just focused on the fact that this was supposed to be the movie that broke us into the multiverse, if they spent a bit more time focusing on the multiverse and just like letting us like explore it and really explain to us like what like this means for the future of like Marvel movies, I would have scored it higher. But unfortunately, due to the fact it's kind of like the multiverse of madness, there's a key bit in that which is madness, because it really was just a mess of madness where it's like
trying
so
to decipher all of it.
and you didn't get enough time to like feel comfortable in any scenes. They were always moving on.
Yeah.
Just as you're like, oh, okay, I'm used to this. Okay, we're moving on now.
In that sense, the pacing is to its detriment.
Yeah, so in my opinion, it's a 5. Like, I've tried to score it higher just because of my love of, like, Doctor Strange. I fucking love, like, all the wizardry and, like, the mirror dimension and that kind of shit, and, like, the necromancy and stuff like that. I freaking love that stuff. So it's very insulting to hear myself say it's 5. It's mid.
It's mid, yeah. For me, I'd give it a 5.5.
Oh, okay.
But my 5 over his 5.
It's 0.5.
0.5 will purely be down to Sam Raimi's directing. Because whilst it was dark and it was definitely different, it was a fresh change. And it was something, I feel, as within the multiverse, it was a welcome change. Because we're given access to many realms that have different laws, different rules, different realities, essentially. And for that reason, I'll give it a 5.5. But as for an average movie, yeah, it's a good movie. If you're a Marvel fan, there's a lot of conflict. You'll find a lot of conflict with it.
And obviously, without spoiling it, is it just me, or does it feel like a lot of these directors, especially in this film, they're kind of trying to go for that Game of Thrones thing, where it's like no character's safe? It always felt like they really wanted you to just feel like you can't trust anyone.
These characters aren't as powerful as they seem.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's going to betray you a lot. Like if you're a big fan of the Marvel
universe, love Marvel movies and you love Marvel heroes, I'm sorry,
you're going to be disappointed.
You're not going to like this. You're not going to like
If I was to go by just one of the scenes in this film, it would be a 1. Like, it might It'd be a straight up one.
There
But
is-
I'll leave you to guess what scene would make me say
I think
someone.
by the time you've seen this movie, you'll know what scene
Yeah,
you're
what scene
referring
you're
to.
But anyways, not to stress this out too long. From me, Jamie, it's going to be a goodbye. From Dale, it's going to be a
See you when we see ya.
And make sure to check our podcast out. Was That a Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and any other kind of like podcast like thing. I'm pretty sure we're on it at this point. And make sure to keep up to date on the YouTube channel. The YouTube is Jamie version 1 for now. I will make it a Was That a Podcast channel. But we're just doing with what we've got. And we will see you when we see you.